Good evening, everybody. I'm Laura Thomas, and this is my YouTube channel. And I want to talk to you guys today about just all the confusion I'm finding with my YouTube. I guess I'm a starter of things before I even know what I'm doing. I wrote a book, and that's how it all started. And I was just thrown into this life of everything I'm doing now, 24/7 advertising. Like, oh my goodness, I could not even tell you guys. I try to keep up, but man, okay, so when I first wrote my book, my publishing company told me, you will need to get on social media. So I started reading this book they gave me. It was like a journey of advertising for what I needed to do to be a book seller, so I could sell my book now that I wrote a book. And they said to create social medias on everything. Even if you don't plan on using them, create one so that way you have one when you are at that point. I never understood what that was. So yes, I signed up to WordPress. Yes, I signed up to Instagram. I already had a Facebook because it was my family and friends. I did Twitter. I've just signed up for a multi-layer of different avenues I could go and advertise at. But I tended to only go towards one, which was Instagram. And Instagram got really big for me. And then I linked my Instagram up with my Facebook, and my Facebook blew up. And so I had to create another Facebook. This whole social media thing is so crazy. And my whole point to you guys about my YouTube channel is for my character traits. That's what it's all about. Like, my book is about character traits. How I learn them should not matter because they are all character traits we all are associated with. I don't know how many dads I sat and talked to, how many grandpas I sat and talked to, how many brothers I sat and talked to. I have talked to so many different people as far as in couples coming in. I mean, I've talked to so many people that's how my book came about. I was writing down all this information. And at first, I'll tell you guys, when I first did it, I was more on a phase of making money. I was a hustler. I was a hustler as a little child. So getting into where my book comes from is I was a stripper. Getting back into that lifestyle after so many years. I mean, I quit dancing like now 18, 19 years ago, but I quit when I was 28. And I traveled a couple different places, but definitely I got married when I was in my 30s, so I wasn't trying to hustle men when I was married. So, I mean, a lot of things I've learned through social media. Like, social media is crazy. Like, as a dancer, I was like, I don't need social media. I have no problem meeting people. I thought that's all it was like meeting people, hangouts and all that stuff. And I was like, well, if I wanted to meet someone, I'll just go and buy some milk or something. Because all the character traits that I talk about in my book are in society. They are our society woes. There are society problems. A lot of what I talk about. A lot of what I did was bad, was really, really bad. But because I was in a strip club, I had an excuse. But I'm realizing nowadays, so many women emotionally hustle and they've never been in a club. They just have learned. And that's like women's character traits now. A lot of us are hustlers and a lot of us are using our bodies for it. It's just all those things. My book was just that, was just feelings on paper. That's all it was. And it became a book because I was like, wow, everyone needs to read this. These are character traits that we all have that, I had to look at my own character traits. I had to look at myself and really not lie to myself and tell on myself. And I could walk around now without, I can't say no secrets, but not many secrets. I've given it up for just, I can't be fake. And if you are portraying a character trait that is not yours, you're being fake. Do you hear that? If you are using a bubbly personality to get attention, to be the class clown, to if you use it in a bad manner, a bad fashion, you're being fake. That's not really you. Be yourself. Be who you are and love yourself. Oh my goodness. I've talked to so many people out there who thought that their character traits were issues, but they were only issues of how they were looking at themselves. Because there's a lot of people out there around the world that are normal people and they have those character traits and they don't think that they're problems, but because you think it's a problem, that's where the problem lies. You have to own your traits. You have to know your traits. And then you can open up to look at other people's traits. And that's what basically my book was about. Like, the whole thing was about character traits. As I've gotten book reviews, one of my book reviews that I got mentioned that they've never frequented strip clubs, so they cannot understand my character traits. But my character traits, they don't live in strip clubs. Those guys I talked about in the clubs don't live in there. They only are in there for like maybe once a week or maybe once a month or whatever. Their trait just goes crazy, which lets you see if they are that crazy in a area where people are behaving that way and witnessing each other acting crazy. Imagine how they are in their own privacy of their homes. Like, that's the kind of stuff I watch on Criminal Minds, which I think that's what I should have been, as someone on Criminal Minds. Doing these YouTube lives with you, I thought would be simple like Instagram. I was like, I'm going to get on it and I'm just going to learn it. But no, this is so much more difficult. There's so many more rules that I have to learn. So I'm not going to do what I was doing. Every Monday we talk about innocent lost lives. Every Wednesday we're going to talk about meet and greet. You're going to meet somebody. Every Friday we're going to talk about that fast cash lifestyle. No more. We're not doing that. Now it's going to be just about what it was supposed to be about. Character traits. I want to talk about character traits every day. And I don't want to have to tell you guys, oh, well, we're going to have this on this date. I'm not a scheduled person. Anybody that knows me knows that I'm not a scheduled person. I'm a flighty person. I am somebody who will wake up in the morning and be like, babe, let's go to San Diego. Now that I'm off papers, like I'm really legit now, like I'm not on probation, I'm not in trouble. I could leave out of California now. I could travel, like I could go to Mexico if I wanted. I could buy me a little señorita dress and like be like, yeah, I didn't get it off the streets in LA. I went to Mexico. I bought it from a Mexican store. Like, I could do all that stuff. Like, now my fiance, who is in telecommunications, we've had to hold back on all his exploring and like taking business in Hawaii, taking business in Missouri, taking business in Texas. We've had to hold off because I couldn't leave. I couldn't leave the area. So we've been doing this resort living and traveling, but not doing what we were destined to do. And now that I can, I don't know how much I can keep up this facade. This is not me. This is not me, you guys. I want to show you guys. And that's what I plan on doing. I am not going to say Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Let's say every day. Let's say every day I bring to you guys something of some relevance to character traits. Okay, so my book. I want to do this like, I don't know, like how I would do to the Bible. Just open it up and go to one page and then just put my hand on it and read. That's exactly what this book should be about. Like, okay, so today I just touched car salesman. Since these men are all different traits and they come in clubs together, it's hard to tell. Car salesmen travel in a group, taking up a couple of tables when they frequent clubs. Dancers know to hang out with them because they have awesome stages. They never leave their jobs at the office, always trying to sell you a car, just like strippers. Come visit me. Anywhere. They go to Starbucks, they're telling the men there, come into my club, I'm working. Giving business cards out like money. They always have deals going on. They are sharks, just like the dancers, so it's important for you to find one who wants dances. They have different styles and tastes, usually because of age or personality. So that's just a little bit about car salesmen. It doesn't really say anything bad about them, but it does tell you their character traits. They usually tend to be in packs. Car salesmen do come in strip clubs solely, but they got different traits that are powering them to come in the club other than the salesman. Car salesmen do frequent clubs together, whether or not they bring customers. I don't know. I never really talked to them. I just seen them on stages if they'd come up to my stage. But that's what I want to do with my book, is like really open you guys up. And my book is not all about character traits. It's about a lot of different stuff. Like right here, I'm going to read you one paragraph. I really avoided interaction with my family when I was out there grinding. I was selling... Oh, wow. Maybe I shouldn't read that one. Well, if you read my book, you'll do it. I was selling pot all hours of the day, and my friends would say, be careful, to me daily. Wow, I can't believe I'm reading this. I was continuously doing meet and greets. Okay, this was a different type of a meet and greet. Meeting men my mom would have disagreed on. Not for a relationship, but for that fast-paced lifestyle has many hustlers visible. I found that out when I was out there myself. I was a hot commodity, ex-stripper, pot dealer who would do drop-offs. I would work all hours. It didn't matter how late it was. I met so many wonderful people while doing meet and greets, and it took only one to stop it all. I can't believe I just turned to this in the first book. This is my key point of why I was in jail. Okay. I wanted to learn about that fast cash lifestyle. So I did just that. I was out there doing my own thing, and I met someone who invited me into it. I took them in on their offer and hung tough with them. He was doing risky things but not sharing that part with me. I definitely learned that there's no trust in the fast lifestyle experience. To trust anyone in that lifestyle is pure stupidity. So that's the only part I'm going to read you of this. And then I could tell you the story about that. Like, okay, so when I got caught, it was because I was not working at the time, and I went out to welfare, and I went and signed up for GA, government assistance. Never had it before, but I figured, hey, I'm going to get it. So I went down there, and I gave them my address to where I was staying. I didn't know that linked it all to the police, and I didn't know at the time that I had separated my husband in September 2013. And by 2014, I was already meeting and greeting bad people. So this was in 2015 when I had done this. And I had no idea that I was wanted for questioning on whatever. So I signed up for GA, and the next day the police came right after I jumped out the shower. I had smoked a nice little blunt. I opened the door, and the cops were like, are you Laura Thomas? And dumbass me was like, oh, yeah, sure. Well, can I see your a license. I've never been in trouble before. I didn't know how this kind of procedure went. So I got my license out, and he said, I'm putting you under arrest. And I thought it was a mistake. I was like, wow, there's someone using my identity. This is a mistake. They said it was for a controlled substance. That definitely wasn't me, unless it was something that they didn't know. So I just thought it wasn't me. So I was like dumbfounded at the whole experience. And come to find out later, I was introduced to an undercover agent. I had no experience, no prior knowledge of that fast cash lifestyle. I was a teacher. My husband was a street pharmacist. So I had no idea about that lifestyle or nothing. And then because I separated from him, I got curious to it. And that's what this part of my book was speaking about, was the actual interaction of meeting bad people that I did not know. It wasn't explained to me the way that it was an emotional hustle. I realized when I was in jail that it was first offense, so I got right out, slap on the wrist. But I realized there were so many girls in there that needed what I wanted to start. And I think that kind of started it for me. And then getting out, meeting my fiance, and he challenged me to do my book, really set forth all of what I'm talking about with you guys today. I don't want to stray away from the fact that character traits I've been obsessed with my whole life. As a child, I was abused as a child. My abuser was an emotional abuser. He emotionally abused me to where I was confused. I didn't know what was wrong and what was right, and I had to learn. I was one of those kids that would sit on anybody's lap. Like, I had to learn, be re-taught just the ways. A lot of people want to know why I don't go into detail about that. I will, but that's a separate book. This book, Emotional Hustler, is purely that. It is only about an emotional hustle. That needs to stop. That's why this book is out right now. Character traits are crazy. Character traits are wild. That's another thing I want to talk to you guys about. Some ask me if I'm political. No, I'm not. As a matter of fact, before I went to jail, before I met my fiance, I didn't know nothing about politics. All I thought was the government was dirty. The government was wrong. I didn't know how. I wasn't listening to conspiracy theories. I wasn't listening to nothing. I just didn't think that they were all above board. I thought their character traits were questionable, but I never paid attention. And then our president walks down those escalators and says he's running, and character traits came out, and I started paying attention. No, I am not... I'm not a Republican. From what I've learned about Republicans is they are said to be, not that I have that knowledge, but not that I personally think that, but they are said to be wimps. They're said to be weenies and wussies. When I met Lindsey Graham, I thought he was one of the biggest wimps. Now I freaking love him. He is so awesome. Oh my God, he woke up. It's like I watched Lindsey Graham character trait assess what was going on, and he came out and really just ain't putting up with it no more. He ain't putting up with it no more. He has changed. His character trait has changed drastically since I've been watching him. And I'll say that in politics, there's a lot of them that I don't pay attention to, but I know two names. The day that I started paying attention, the two names that I said, wow, these are some very bad character traits, using emotionally hustling our people into scaring them or whatever. And I will say those two names right now. One is Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer. Those are the two names that I first was like, wow. And I watched their character traits, and I watched their facial expressions, and I watched their eyes, and I listened to their vocal tones and their gestures. And it's like, it goes so deep. Like, my book goes into everything I analyze. I analyze like 50 different things. I analyze eye contact. I analyze where your eyes are looking. I analyze vocal tones. I analyze everything. I analyze facial expressions like a mofo. So that's what I started doing with them too. Okay. I don't dislike anybody, but I do not like liars. I do not like people who are not above board or honest. Now, some of you may say the president of the United States is all of those, but I will say they have made him out to be all of those. But where is the proof? So let's just drop that right now, because I'm not political and I don't want to go any more into politics, but I'm paying attention to character traits, you guys. So it's only natural that I'm going to pay attention to those character traits in our politics. And right now, because of the election, it's crazy. Like, I have good friends who've never been involved in politics watching the debates right now with me. And they're asking me, are you watching the debates? I'm like, what? I thought I was more into it than them. But no, everybody is watching it. And it's crazy because I see so much support and love, all our American flags all flying when I drive through the town of Sacramento, coming from Rockland to Citrus Heights and stuff. There's like all the little over parts that you drive under. They're like hundreds of little flags on there. Like, I see so much support, but I don't see none for Biden. I see a couple things, but okay. So we're gonna get off that.